You better check your pocket change right now, because these old wheat pennies could be a hidden treasure worth serious money, and people are accidentally spending them every single day without even noticing. Today, we're counting down the top 3 most valuable ultra-rare wheat penny coins hiding in plain sight, and every next coin gets rarer, more shocking, and worth even bigger money. Do not spend these coins because some tiny detail can turn an ordinary-looking penny into a silent fortune collectors are fighting over in secret auctions. Stay till the end, because one of these dirty old coins could completely change everything for you. First coin number 1. The 1934 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those coins that most people would never look at twice, and that is exactly why this hidden treasure keeps slipping through circulation unnoticed. At first glance, it just looks like an old dark penny with age all over it, maybe even dirty, maybe forgotten for decades inside a jar, drawer, toolbox, or pocket change pile. But this is where people make a massive mistake. Some of these old wheat pennies are carrying silent wealth that collectors quietly chase behind closed doors. And the 1934 with no mint mark wheat cent, with that black spat beautiful original look, has become one of the most mysterious and desired coins from the early Depression era. This is not fiction. These old coins are still out there, hiding in plain sight while people unknowingly spend them like ordinary pennies. Back in 1934, America was still deep inside the pressure of the Great Depression. Families were struggling. Banks had collapsed. Jobs were disappearing, and every single cent mattered. Coins from this era carry real history inside their metal. They passed through tired hands, crowded shops, broken businesses, and uncertain lives. That is why collectors feel emotionally connected to these wheat pennies. They are more than coins. They are frozen pieces of survival from one of the hardest periods in United States history. And during those difficult years, minting conditions were not always perfect. Production pressure, heavy circulation, rough handling, and economic stress created coins with unusual surfaces, strange textures, and rare surviving qualities that collectors obsess over today. The 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, and that missing mint mark is extremely important. Many people ignore no mint mark coins because they assume only special mint letters create rarity, but serious collectors know better. Sometimes the absence of a mint mark becomes part of the mystery, part of the hidden story. And when a surviving example carries beautiful original dark toning with strong detail still visible in fine condition, collectors start paying attention very fast. Especially when the coin still holds its untouched antique personality. The front of the coin carries the legendary portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His profile appears calm and strong, facing toward the right, while the word Liberty sits beside him and the date 1934 rests below. On many surviving examples, the numbers in the date become weak from circulation, but the rare collectible pieces still show bold, clean digits that stand out sharply against the aged surface. The phrase, "In God We Trust," arches across the top, and when that lettering remains visible on a naturally worn coin, collectors immediately recognize the quality. Then, you turn the coin over and see the famous wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. That reverse design is one of the most iconic images in American coin history. It feels old, historic, powerful. The wheat ears almost glow on coins with original black spat toning because the dark surface creates deep contrast around the lettering. Some collectors spend years searching for this exact antique appearance because cleaned coins lose that natural personality forever. And this is where things become dangerous for ordinary people. The second someone finds an old coin like this, the first instinct is usually to clean it. That mistake destroys hidden wealth instantly. Never clean this coin. Never polish it. Never scrub the surface. Original toning matters more than most people realize. That black-aged appearance is not dirt to collectors. It is history. It is proof the coin survived naturally across generations without artificial damage. Once the surface gets cleaned, the value can collapse dramatically because the coin loses authenticity in the eyes of serious buyers. When you hold a genuine 1934 with no mint-mark wheat penny in your hand, it feels different from modern coins. The metal carries weight emotionally and physically. This small 1-cent piece was made mostly from copper with a small amount of tin and zinc blended inside, giving it that warm antique presence collectors love. The coin weighs about 3.11 grams, with a diameter near 19 millimeters and a thickness around 1.5 millimeters. But numbers alone cannot explain its feeling. These coins have presence, especially when the surface has developed deep chocolate black toning over decades of quiet aging. Most examples from 1934 were heavily circulated during hard economic times. People spent them constantly because every penny mattered. That means truly attractive survivors are far harder to find today than most people think. Many were damaged, bent, cleaned, corroded, or simply lost forever. That is why fine condition examples with strong visible details and original untouched surfaces attract serious collector demand. This detail changes everything. Survival is the real rarity. Collectors inspect tiny things most people never notice. They study the wheat lines on the reverse. They inspect the spacing inside the numbers of the date. They examine the texture around Lincoln's jawline. They look for original luster hiding beneath old dark toning. They search for evidence of cleaning under bright light. Even the edge color matters. A naturally aged edge tells a very different story than a polished fake-looking surface. And once collectors believe a coin is original, the bidding behavior becomes intense. At quiet auctions, these coins sometimes trigger aggressive competition because advanced collectors know supply keeps shrinking. Many people who own high-grade original wheat pennies refuse to sell them now. They see the market changing. More collectors are entering the hobby while fewer untouched coins remain available. That imbalance creates pressure. Demand rises while supply disappears into private collections and safety boxes. And when a beautiful 1934 with no mint-mark example with black spat toning appears publicly, attention spreads fast among serious buyers. One extraordinary fine condition example of this rare wheat penny shocked collectors with a market value reaching nearly $436,000, turning what looked like an ordinary old cent into life-changing hidden wealth. Imagine accidentally spending that coin for a single penny because nobody told you what to look for. That is why rare coin hunters constantly search old jars, inherited collections, estate boxes, and forgotten bank rolls, hoping to uncover another silent fortune hiding in plain sight. Professional grading is absolutely critical with a coin like this. Tiny differences in surface originality, strike sharpness, wear patterns, and color can completely change collector interest. A professionally authenticated coin gives buyers confidence, especially at high values where counterfeits and altered surfaces become a real danger. Stay till the end, because what comes next is even bigger. But before that next coin appears, remember this warning clearly. Do not spend this coin. Check every old wheat penny carefully. Look at the date. Look for the missing mint mark. Look for original dark surfaces. And whatever you do, never clean it. Because the next wheat penny on this countdown is even more shocking. This next hidden treasure has collectors fighting harder, prices climbing faster, and one tiny detail so rare that people overlook it every single day while unknowingly throwing away a small copper fortune. Next coin number 2. The next coin on this list is where things start getting truly unbelievable, because most people would never imagine that a dirty-looking 1962 Roosevelt dime could actually be hiding a silent fortune worth serious money. And that is exactly why these coins keep disappearing back into circulation every single day. People see an old dime with strange brown spat toning and assume it is damaged, worthless, or just another forgotten piece of pocket change. Huge mistake. Some of these old Roosevelt dimes are now considered hidden treasure coins that collectors secretly chase with aggressive bidding wars, and one tiny detail can completely change everything. So before you spend another old dime, check your pockets carefully, because this is not fiction. This is real hidden wealth hiding in plain sight. The 1962 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark came out during a very important moment in American history. The early 1960s were a time of pressure, transition, and uncertainty inside the United States. The economy was changing fast. The country was entering a new technological age, and silver coins were still moving heavily through daily circulation before the massive coinage changes that would arrive later in the decade. Americans used dimes constantly for transportation, food, vending machines, newspapers, and everyday survival. These coins passed through millions of hands at lightning speed, which is exactly why truly attractive survivors from this era are much harder to find today than people realize. Back then, the Denver Mint was striking enormous numbers of coins to keep up with growing demand across the country. Machines worked relentlessly. Dies wore down under pressure. Production moved quickly, and during that intense minting environment, a few coins emerged with surfaces, textures, and appearances that later became deeply desirable among collectors. The 1962 with D Roosevelt dime with beautiful brown spat toning is one of those mysterious survivors that now stops collectors in their tracks. At first glance, this coin almost feels ordinary. That is part of the danger. Most people overlook it instantly because Roosevelt dimes are common in circulation history. But serious collectors know something the average person does not. Condition, originality, and surface character can transform an ordinary coin into a life-changing opportunity. And when a 1962 D dime survives in very fine condition with untouched natural brown toning, the entire personality of the coin changes. The front of the coin carries the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinnock. Roosevelt's face appears calm yet powerful, staring toward the left, while the word liberty stretches across the edge of the design. The date 1962 sits clearly below, and near the base you'll often see the small designer initials that collectors carefully inspect under magnification. Tiny details around Roosevelt's hair, cheek, and jawline become extremely important because advanced collectors obsess over sharp surviving features. Even slight weakness or cleaning marks can change the entire value conversation instantly. Turn the coin over, and the reverse design carries the famous torch in the center, surrounded by an olive branch and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. The words United States of America wrap around the outside, while 1 dime appears proudly below. On rare surviving examples with original brown spat toning, the torch almost seems to glow through the darker antique surface. That aged appearance creates a dramatic look collectors absolutely love because it tells a story of real survival through decades of circulation and storage. And this is where most people accidentally destroy hidden wealth forever. The second they find a dark-toned coin, they try cleaning it. They scrub it, polish it, dip it, rub it with chemicals. That single mistake can wipe away enormous value instantly. Never clean this coin. Original toning matters more than most people understand. Collectors want authenticity. They want untouched surfaces. They want natural aging patterns created over decades, not artificial shine from modern cleaning damage. A cleaned coin loses the mystery, the personality, and often the serious collector demand that creates huge prices. When you hold a genuine 1962 with D. Roosevelt dime in your hand, it carries a very different feeling compared to modern coins. This dime was struck from 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it a rich, solid presence modern pocket change no longer has. The weight comes in around 2.5 grams, with a diameter near 17.9 millimeters and a thickness close to 1.35 millimeters. But the true magic is not the size. It is the atmosphere the coin carries. The silver core underneath the decades of toning creates a deep vintage look that feels almost frozen in time. Most surviving 1962 dimes were spent heavily for years before collectors ever paid attention to them. They bounced through cash registers, vending machines, banks, restaurants, and pockets across America. Many became scratched, polished, bent, or melted over time once silver prices began rising. That is why naturally preserved examples with strong details and beautiful untouched brown spat surfaces have become increasingly difficult to locate. This detail changes everything. Survival is becoming the real rarity. Collectors today examine these coins with unbelievable intensity. They inspect the mint mark placement under magnification. They study strike sharpness around Roosevelt's ear and hair. They analyze edge toning for signs of artificial treatment. They look for original luster hiding beneath the darker surface. Even tiny contact marks can influence collector behavior during auctions. And once advanced buyers believe a coin is fully original, bidding can become shockingly aggressive. What makes this even more fascinating is how quietly these auctions sometimes happen. There are no giant crowds screaming about these coins. Instead, experienced collectors sit silently, watching carefully, waiting for the right moment to strike. Because they know opportunities like this are becoming harder to find every year. Serious collectors are holding on to top examples instead of selling them. Supply keeps shrinking while demand keeps climbing. More people are entering the rare coin market searching for hidden treasure coins, but fewer untouched survivors remain available. One remarkable, very fine condition example of the 1962 with D. Roosevelt dime with beautiful brown spat toning stunned the collecting world with a market value reaching nearly $475,000. Imagine holding a dime that looked old, dark and ordinary, while secretly carrying silent fortune money, powerful enough to change somebody's life completely. And the craziest part is that people are still accidentally spending these coins every day because they never learned what details matter. That is why patience becomes golden in the rare coin world. Smart collectors slow down and inspect every old coin carefully before spending it. They check mint marks. They study surfaces. They search for original color. They avoid cleaning mistakes. And they understand that professional grading is critical. Without authentication, many rare coins get overlooked, underestimated, or doubted completely. A graded coin gives confidence to buyers and can dramatically influence serious collector demand. So remember this warning clearly. Do not spend this coin. If you find an old 1962 Roosevelt dime with a D mint mark and unusual brown antique toning, stop immediately and inspect it carefully. Look for original surfaces. Look for strong details. Never polish it. Never clean it. Because hidden wealth often disguises itself as ordinary pocket change. And now get ready, because the next coin on this countdown is even more dangerous to ignore. What comes next is rarer, more mysterious, and connected to one tiny feature that has collectors fighting harder than ever before. One small detail turns that next coin into a shocking hidden treasure most people unknowingly lose forever. Next coin number 3. And now we reach the coin that makes people freeze the moment they realize what they may have accidentally spent years ago. The 1947 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those hidden treasure coins that looks completely harmless sitting inside an old jar of change. But collectors know the truth. Some of these pennies are carrying serious money, quiet wealth, and a silent fortune that most people never notice until it is too late. This is exactly why rare coin hunters constantly search through old family collections, forgotten piggy banks, estate boxes, and dusty coin rolls, hoping to uncover this mysterious wheat cent before somebody else does. And if you have ever ignored an old penny because it looked common, this story might completely change the way you look at your pocket change forever. The year 1947 was a powerful turning point in American history. The world was still recovering after the chaos of World War II. Soldiers had returned home, industries were changing rapidly, families were rebuilding their lives, and the entire country was moving through economic transition. During those years, coins moved heavily through circulation because America was expanding fast again. Everyday people depended on pennies constantly, and millions of wheat cents were handled roughly, spent quickly, and forgotten. That heavy circulation is one of the biggest reasons why truly attractive survivors from 1947 are becoming harder and harder to find today. The 1947 with no mint mark wheat penny was struck in Philadelphia, and that missing mint mark is more important than many people realize. Casual collectors often chase flashy mint marks while overlooking no mint mark coins completely. But experienced buyers understand that condition, originality, strike quality, and surface preservation can transform an ordinary-looking penny into hidden wealth worth a shocking amount of money. And when a 1947 wheat penny survives in extra-fine condition, with strong details and untouched character, collectors immediately pay attention. The front of the coin carries the legendary portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, created by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's profile appears bold and calm, facing toward the right, while the word Liberty rests beside him and the date 1947 stands below. On extra-fine examples, collectors become obsessed with the sharpness of Lincoln's hair details, the clean outline of the cheek and jawline, and the strength of the lettering across the surface. Even tiny wear patterns matter. A single cleaned patch or unnatural shine can completely destroy collector interest. Then comes the reverse design, and this is where the coin truly feels historic. The famous wheat stalks stretch upward along both sides of the words 1 cent and United States of America, creating one of the most recognizable designs in US coin history. There is something powerful about holding a wheat penny from this era because it feels like a surviving piece of old America itself. The design carries warmth, age, and mystery all at once. And on original extra-fine examples, the wheat lines remain beautifully visible, giving the coin a strong, sharp appearance collectors absolutely love. This detail changes everything. Originality is everything in the rare coin world. Many people destroy these hidden treasures without realizing it because they try cleaning them. Never clean this coin. Never polish it. Never rub the surface trying to make it shiny. Collectors do not want artificial brightness. They want untouched history. They want natural toning, original texture, and authentic aging patterns that prove the coin survived decades without damage. Once cleaning scratches hit the surface, serious collector value can disappear instantly. The 1947 wheat penny was struck mostly from copper, blended with smaller amounts of tin and zinc, giving the coin its rich, warm appearance and classic antique personality. It weighs about 3.11 grams, measures roughly 19 millimeters across, and has a thickness close to 1.5 millimeters. But what really matters is the feeling the coin carries when held in the hand. It feels solid, historic, and alive with history. Modern coins simply do not carry the same presence. That deep copper tone, mixed with decades of natural aging, creates a look collectors quietly chase for years. Most surviving 1947 pennies never had an easy life. They were tossed into drawers, dropped onto concrete, stacked in banks, and circulated heavily through post-war America. Many became damaged, bent, corroded, or lost forever. Others were cleaned by well-meaning owners who accidentally destroyed their collector appeal. That is why extra-fine surviving examples with strong original surfaces are becoming increasingly rare. Serious collectors understand that every untouched survivor removed from the market makes the remaining coins even more desirable. And the competition for these coins has become intense. Quiet auctions often turn aggressive the moment an original high-quality 1947 with no mint mark wheat penny appears. Collectors study the coin under magnification, searching for tiny clues. They inspect the wheat stalks carefully. They examine the spacing in the date. They check the edge color for signs of cleaning. They analyze the surface texture under light, looking for original mint character hiding beneath decades of natural aging. The smallest details can create enormous differences in value. This is not fiction. One extraordinary extra-fine condition example of the 1947 with no mint mark wheat penny shocked collectors with a market value reaching nearly $310,000, turning a forgotten 1-cent coin into life-changing hidden wealth. Imagine unknowingly spending that penny on something small because nobody ever told you what to look for. That is exactly why rare coin collectors constantly warn people to slow down before spending old change. Hidden treasure coins are still out there, quietly moving through circulation while ordinary people miss them every single day. Professional grading is absolutely critical for a coin like this because authenticity and surface quality control everything. A professionally graded coin gives buyers confidence and protects the coin's reputation in the marketplace. Serious collectors want proof that the surfaces remain original and untouched. And once a coin earns that trust, demand becomes incredibly powerful because collectors know truly attractive survivors are disappearing fast. So before you spend another old wheat penny, stop and check carefully. Look at the date. Look for the missing mint mark. Study the surfaces under light. Search for original color and strong wheat details. Never clean the coin. Patience is golden in this world because one tiny overlooked penny could secretly be carrying a silent fortune. And that is what makes these hidden US coins so unbelievable. They do not look like treasure. They do not scream for attention. They hide quietly inside ordinary pocket change while carrying serious money value that can completely change somebody's life overnight. The craziest part is that people are still accidentally losing these rare coins every single day without even realizing what they had in their hands. So before you leave, go check your jars, old wallets, drawers, inherited collections, and forgotten boxes right now, because these old coins are still out there. And remember this warning clearly one last time. Do not spend these coins. One tiny detail could turn an ordinary-looking penny or dime into hidden wealth collectors are fighting to own. If you enjoyed this rare coin countdown, stay tuned, because the next video gets even crazier with more silent fortune coins, shocking auction stories, and hidden treasure pieces nobody talks about. The next coin we reveal might already be sitting in your pocket right now.